Hello and welcome in. And let's say cheese. Okay, so I am back online. Better late than never. Market's up 6 handles. I was just noticing when I first started watching this huge volume on the 5 minute and on the 15 minute. This upthrust expansion of volume was pretty much foretelling this candle here. And we put in a lower tick, so we're going to retrace a little bit from this morning, up 10 handles. Now it's only up 5 handles, almost 1,500 stocks advancing on the New York Stock Exchange. And let's keep that on top, and here we go. Good morning. Alright, let's see, take care of some things here. Live dashboard, okay. So let's check out the markets, go through some charts. I think I should shrink this down. Just trying to get things set up. Yeah, this volume expansion with an upthrust candle here on the 15 minute. And even showing it up on the hourly chart. Expansion of volume with upthrust means retrace. See how much traction we can get out of that retracement. It is almost 8 o'clock Pacific Standard, 5 handles to the good, 1,500 stocks advancing on the New York Stock Exchange. I initially started looking at the market 10 handles up. I was thinking calls might be a good thing. Had I went for puts at 10 handles, 5 handle move would have been great for a position. But I want to check out and see. Just have to get things set up here. Let's see. I'm going to close that window. Bear with me while I get things set. Okay. So let's see, we opened right here. So market's trying to move towards where it opened. Alright, thank you, Manfred Mika. Good dude. Alright. Tweeting the trading room. Let's see. we'll check back on the Twitter feed later. Pardon me. So I think we're all set here for doing some market analysis. One thing I do like to prepare for the night before is, and I'll do this on the Thinkorswim platform, TD Ameritrade has access, this is a paper trading account, has access to any tool you can think about for chart analysis, technical analysis. I just draw trend lines. Trend lines is a very subjective thing. Everybody draws them kind of their own way. I don't try to apply too many rigid rules to drawing trend lines. You got, kind of people that have to have rigid rules, and that's fine. And then there's, a little flexibility. Sometimes you'll draw them across bodies and a little bit on the highs, and just to see what you can come up with. I don't think there's any correct answer. S&P futures overnight, kind of look at that. And then one of the main things I like to look at here is I got a little window here with market profile. If I see anything interesting, I might put that on a main chart and blow it up. And then advancing volume minus declining volume on this window, advancing minus decliners here. Let me see, it appears the market wants to push up, retrace a little bit from yesterday. And switch this to daily chart. And remove the drawings. So some might want to call this a bear flag, but it's not. Not when you have a down sloping flag like this. You might call that a bear pennant. I don't think it's too rough looking. Call it really anything right now. I would call this current daily candle there's not enough volume in there to really call it anything, I don't think. It looks like the market is trying to feel out an area of contention, and these are volume nodes. This is a volume by price, so it reflects the more activity at this price, and you'll see the node growing at that price. And kind of currently right here where we're at, it's a low volume node. It's really, I would describe this candle mostly daily developing as just indecision. Market is looking what I call balance, to find a balance. I don't know how best to describe it really. I'll go back into, now this is E-Trade's platform, and I'm using this for real-time quotes. You can see the 5 minutes. See, now we're expanding volume with a down thrusting candle. So if I was paying more attention, this might have been a good time to get calls. So the market's pushing up, and it'll probably, I would guess, get up to this area, in this area, and start to stall out. This is where it got about 10 handles up, and the market said, whoa, wait a second, it's getting a little ahead of itself. Fix my chair. Alright. More coffee. 1,600 stocks advancing is a good number. I was mentioning yesterday when you got a, the market fooled me. Well, it wasn't yesterday. I think the day before yesterday. Market fooled me. It does that. It does it all the time. It's good at fooling me. That's its job. The job of the market is to fool you. That's what it's there to do. It tries to weed out speculation. I don't know if you can understand that, but market does not want to present opportunity. It wants to take it away, and that's what it's about. And let's see. So let's see if there's any new viewers out there. I'm Mark Vieira, your host, and welcome into my trading room. I'm analyzing the markets and pretty much live in real time. I would argue there's an 8-second to 10-second delay, but whatever, that's okay. So the market was up about 10 handles when I first started looking at it, dropped down to 5, and now we're trying to retrace back up here. We're 6.5 handles, almost 1,600 advancing on the New York Stock Exchange. And here we go. Another up thrust, but that's on declining volume. So we're not going to pay attention to that up thrust. Pay attention to these up thrusts here. When you have an expansion of volume, you can almost count on reversal, which is what happened here. But then now we're having down thrust on a lower volume. So we're not going to trust this candle. Not yet. Not unless it agrees with the ticks. And we were putting in higher highs on the ticks, and then this one here, this is where all bets are off. We're putting a lower low on a tick, and now we're just going to kind of step back and see what kind of opportunity can we get out of the market today, if any. One thing you don't want to do is try to push a trade. You don't want to try to force yourself to trade. You want to wait until you see something that goes, ooh, yeah. And then the higher the confidence that you have, the better off you're going to be. You would definitely want to, and then your risk, how much money you're going to put on the table, is going to equal your confidence. So the more confidence you have, the more that you're willing to risk. And you want to manage that risk. That's another big part of trading, is managing the risk. Let's take a look at the tape. Pardon me. Clearing the 1,600, 7 handles to the good. One thing I haven't checked this morning is crude. Oh, crude is lower, so that's interesting. You got crude falling, and it gets below that Goldilocks area where cheap oil is great for a lot of companies. Service companies love cheap oil, but then it gets below a certain, there's a not too hot, not too cold area for oil. When it gets down below there, the market doesn't like to see a weak energy sector, So that's another thing. So it's interesting. We've got lower crude, and the market is trying to brush that aside and retrace some of yesterday's bloodbath. Interesting. So our advancing line is picking up. 60-minute chart here with relative strength. Nothing interesting really in divergence from the RSI. One thing I do want to check. I'm looking at my stream window, and well, it is what it is. So let's go back to this window. See if I switch this to today. Let's see. I don't like the big huge candles. Rather wait for a few more candles to come in. So we drop down. Where's that yesterday? No, this is, oh, here we go. 14th. So it really didn't open gapped up or down or anything really. There's a huge, on the hourly, expansion of volume with this long up thrust. See how much traction that gets. I'm kind of thinking that this thing is gonna come down a little more. Five handles may be as down as it goes. We'll see. U.S. stocks attempt a rebound after oil-fueled sell-off at MarketWatch. Yeah, just looking to see if there's any interesting news stories, and I also should check the calendar. I looked at it last night. Refresh my memory. See if there's anything. Okay. Ticks are distributing lower. That's definitely. Well, not really. Not since the previous candle here. It still hasn't put in a lower tick reading, so I can't really say. It is Wednesday the 14th, and import price index. Nothing really on the news. There's no. And that was at 8:30 Eastern time, so not a lot for the market to digest. Let's see if I can search for. Now we're 3 handles. Still plenty advancing. Advancing is outpacing declining. Whatever that's worth. Yeah, 3 handles to the good, 1,500 stocks. That's about That looks about right to me. I don't see anything in the way of a discrepancy there. Petroleum sales report, petroleum status report, EIA, 10:30 Eastern. So that's well gone and good. Goodbye. So evidently that report must not have been favorable, considering you know, crude is dropping a bit. Look at that, high volume up thrust. Crude is gonna fall. So where are we at here? Back to 5 handles. We went to 3 and popped right back up to 5. So that's expansion. Down thrust. Higher tick. You know, I want to wait. If this is going to look to be the lowest tick of the day, which is, 1,000 tick. Let me see, the lowest tick was 1,100. High tick was 1,200. I'm going to wait maybe another 15 minutes, half an hour, just to make sure the ticks aren't going to put in a lower tick reading than this. And I'm going to say 3 handles was the line in the sand. You can see how it was rejected. We got down 3 handles and it bounced right back up to 6. Boom. So it won't get down to 3 handles again. You know, what it'll do is it'll put in a higher low, you know, next round of bulls boxing it out. You notice when the ticks, you know, you see positive ticks, then the bulls relax and the bears, and you see a bunch of negative ticks, and the market just washes back and forth like that. It's quite a spectacle, you know. But then it's nothing. After you've seen it a few times, I guess, yeah, who cares? Who cares? Let's see where this comes from. I know you have no idea what I'm talking about. That's okay. I have stuff. I hope this monitor holds out too. I have off streaming monitor for stuff I don't want to stream, you know, and it was doing the funky chicken last night, and you know, if I lose that monitor, it's goodbye. I gotta shut this thing down. Let's see. Live dashboard tells me my streaming health has a red mark, but I took this thing for a test drive 2 nights ago, and evidently I've got my settings as good as they're gonna get, so yeah. Alright, nobody in the chat room, and I'm watching ticks kind of distributing higher again now, and contemplating calls for a trade of the day. You know, this what's that candle formation? Doji star, morning star. That's kind of the MO. I mean, the star should be a little bit lower, but expansion of volume with the down thrusting is basically foretelling this is a reversal and it's going to retrace. And I don't think it will, you know, typically these kind of things it'll put in like a lower high, you know, unless the market wants to go. I think it got about 10 handles installed out, and unless it wants to go higher than that, and that's a good question. I'm not too sure if I am going to take a trade today or not. Last time I did the 213.50s, I got them for $1.70. I sold them for $1.50, 20-cent loss, and then the market just kept going up and up and up and up, and I was glad I sold them. And then the next day I had to work, but I came home early and saw they were $2 and something. Crazy. Okay. Okay, sorry I look only briefly. I have not. That's okay. Good to see you, Manford. Hope you are well. Oh, 879. Let's see what's he advancing. 1,665 stocks advancing. 7 handles to the good. So we'll see if that's going to be the lower high, if the market's going to push back on that lower high. I don't think there's any reason to look at Thinkorswim. You know, this is just a waiting game. But I can guess the range is going to be between this up thrust candle and this down thrust here, this star doji star, yeah. They are Japanese candlesticks. One of the great contributions, because I love candlesticks. An expanded volume, and that was our reversal. See, now if it retraces this previous up thrust, then it's off to the races. I'm losing track here because I think this was, Friday it gapped down lower, went lower, and then this is 9th, and the 12th, which was Monday. Monday it retraced that. Tuesday it gapped down lower, and then here we are. This is Wednesday. Okay, that's the hour. That's an hourly 60-minute chart which is actually a 60-minute chart is different than an hourly chart in terms of when the candle opens. But it's all good. I'll open a 30-minute chart and call it an hourly, and open an hourly and 60-minute chart and call it an hourly. And I'm not sure it makes a whole lot of difference, you know. 7 handles with 1660 stocks advancing behind the 7 handle move. I would call that in line. That's about how much stocks should be advancing with that kind of with that number. And Chevron's lower, no doubt. Coca's been having trouble. Honeywell, that's a really high beta. That thing always moves a lot stronger than the market. Oil's lower. Gold is 0.5% higher. Emerging market seems to be pretty resilient these days. It's up 1%, you know. Emerging markets wants to run. It just needs the U.S. stock market just to be, you know, stable, and it's been really running pretty good. That EEM ETF. So the bulls are still in control, and as I anticipated, well, so far anyway, and we'll see if the market can push above what it previously. This is where it pushed back right here, and that's kind of what I'm wanting to see shake out. And once I can see a fairly clear range, then I might throw my hat in the ring. That's, yeah. Let's move my camera out of view for a few minutes here. I'm gonna look at my audio. I think I tested my audio settings, so I should be okay. This Thinkorswim's a great platform. It's just delayed 20 minutes. It's a paper trading account, so I can't really use it for a lot. I just wanted to see the profile here. So we're just lower than the point of daily control here. Is a daily point of control. Our value area is shaded. So if you trade this kind of value area, the schools of thought is if you get to the lower end of the value area, you buy calls. You get to the higher end of the value, you buy puts. And it's not as easy as that, of course, but let's see. So this is Wednesday. Okay. Move this over. I like to see just what I'm looking at, and I'll leave one candle from the previous day just so I can see that volume, advancing volume minus declining volume gapped up, and now it's petering out. And the same with advancing minus declining. It kind of popped up and it's petering out. So, you know, even if this is delayed 20 minutes, that's still telling me that 20 minutes ago it was petering out. So, check back up on that later. Go back into the main action here. So now we're getting the push back a little bit. Getting a little bit of an upthrust candle here with no speakable volume behind it. This candle is, actually it's pretty matured. We've got 2 minutes left and we're going to get a new candle, so this is going to end up being of low volume. Constantly looking at volume, constantly looking at what is termed volume spread analysis. So you look at the candle and you look at the volume, and you can tell whether there's discrepancies. You know, a lot of trading is looking for little discrepancies. So it is 8:30 Pacific Standard, and for any newcomers, I am Mark Vieira, and I am your host, and this is my trading room. Where is my, oh, there we go. Hello, welcome in. And this is live from Sunnyvale, California. I am watching a slightly bullish day in the market here. 7 handles, trying to retrace a pretty sizable move from yesterday. In fact, oh, that's where it comes from. Okay, I'll have to bookmark. Talking to myself. Here is stockcharts.com, and I like this free charts just to look at here. Let's see if I can bring that into view. Alright, I'd say that's good enough. What I like to do is, I don't care about looking at the MACD, MACD, just turn that off. What I want to see is volume by price. I want to see where price reaction affects volume. You know, price action affects volume. I think that's what I'm trying to say. Just to kind of look at this Friday, whoom, and then Monday it exceeded my I don't know, if we call the whole candle from here to here, right, so that would be you know, if we extended this candle. God, my pen is too fat. I don't like that. I'm gonna erase it. Okay. My halfway rule is, if it retraces half of the previous move, I call that a good sign for reversal. But then the next day just threw that out of the water, and that's this candle here. And now here we are, this is today's move, and we're looking at a bit of an upthrust. Of course, one thing it doesn't put down here is the volume until later in the you know, after the market closes. I guess it can't calculate the volume. But this is stockcharts.com is a pretty cool little, you know, and it's free. You know, I don't know how delayed or anything it is. I've never even thought to try. Ooh. Alright, so I said I'm going to bookmark. This is an economic calendar. And video output low. Whatever. So what happened? I stepped out for a while just to kind of give this thing a chance to move along. So this candle did end up closing with a little bit of volume, but I'm seeing, declining volume with the up thrust, so we don't trust this. I'll trust this candle more with expanding volume than I will this one. Like a star doji, morning star. Kind of a morning star. I was just thinking to myself, and I might try some calls. I'm looking at 5 handles, 1576 advancing to 1200 declining. And just as I'm speaking of calls, this one I want to see if this maintains a higher low here on the tick, as well as maintaining a higher low on our charts. That would give me enough confidence to do something. So let's see what happens here. Back to the 213.50s. Boy, this is deja vu here. So I usually pick, for puts, this is I'll pick just slightly out of the money contracts, which are $1.70. That's right where it was 2 days ago, in any case. But now I'm looking at, on this side are calls right here, or they're asking 81 cents for a 214, so that's probably what I would, and then they would go in the money up here, or on the 15-minute chart, 214s would go in the money, and that's, kind of the only target I would look for is if I bought calls, I just want them to go in the money. And 10-20 cent difference is, I'm not greedy. It's a good thing not to be greedy. That would be my target, is just for contracts to go in the money. And then, I'd assess the situation from there if I thought I wanted to wait and try to capture more profit, that sort of thing. Got a few minutes before this candle closes out, and that's what I'm waiting on. It's kind of a spike on the hourly volume. I'm not seeing it here. This candle's been open since 8:30. It's now 8:37 Pacific Standard. And so long as it maintains this higher low here, I think we have a good shot with calls, but we're decent, you know. I could think of better candle versus volume formations, you know. We see an down thrusting candle, and if we see a volume expansion on the 15-minute chart, that would be lovely. I would like to see that. So now this pushback is putting us where now? Back to 5, almost 6 handles to the good. 1578, almost 1600, advancing. Pretty much in line with a 5-handle move, I think. Now what it's fighting against is this previous candle. It's a bit of an up thrust, but that's on declining volume, so I don't think it's very remarkable. The more remarkable would be seeing these higher lows. And what does the market want to do? Obviously, I think it's feeling out a bottom. Whether that bottom is in, there's not too easy to, you know. So looking at from a daily volume, you know, the initial move, that was on a Friday, and then Monday it retraced on a declining volume. And then the move lower is expanding volume. You know, my first guess would be that we're getting an initial, what you would call dead cat bounce. No, not really. Not without volume. But my initial guess would be that the market is going to try to, you know, this retracement isn't enough, at least not as of yet, to justify saying that the market's reversing. But if we glob all this together with a volume, you know, definitely there seems to be some action at these prices down here. You know, might be attractive to some funds or, you know, big money. I'm not really sure, really, honestly. 4 more minutes for this candle to close. And go back to the tape, just watch ticks. Sometimes I'll just sit and watch the price action coming off the tape. Market's up 6 handles. 1625 stocks advancing on the New York Stock Exchange. And all the indices are up about a third except for the NASDAQ. So technology stocks are really pushing higher, possibly affecting a push higher on the rest of the indices, but you know, should almost, if I was going to buy calls for the day, it would be QQQ. It would be, I don't normally deviate from my SPY, but I have been known to buy the Qs as a medium. Those are the major products, Qs and SPY. 2 more minutes. We're going to see if we put in a higher low. Alright, now the tick is bouncing below 0. Getting some bearish pushback here now. One minute before that candle closes. I should get my order form up ready in case I decide looking at my order form off streaming video. Let's select that chain. So they're asking 89 cents for the 214 calls. Okay, so that's ready to go in case I make a decision here. So now we've got a new candle. We put in the higher low on the 15 minute. We put in the higher low. I think I'm going to take it. Let's see, preview order. Now they're asking 96 cents. And 95 cents. Could wait for some bearish pullback here. Or it could just be too late. But I did want to wait. I wanted to wait for this candle to see a higher low. I think we're seeing equal push, almost equal. It's pretty close, equal push between bullish and bearish activity. So I'll just make a mental note. They're about 90 cents. See where they go from there. They were 88 cents. And I started to initiate an order. And I'm just getting it ready just in case. And declining volume on that move, declining. Volume seems to be just sloping off here after this, what I'm calling a morning star doji. And then a little up thrust, a little down thrust. So this is the area where the market's focusing on right now. And it's almost anyone's guess really on who's going to win the battle here. So I started watching the market this morning. It was up 10 handles. I saw it go as low as 3, and now it's settling. And this is what I mean by balance. It's balancing out at around 5 to 6 handles. We're getting some negative ticks in. And now my contracts are back down to 87 cents. Alright, do I want to do it? Do I want to do it? I don't know. I don't know. You know, you snooze, you lose, right? Is that what they say? I'm not seeing anything kicking me in the butt here in volume. That's kind of why I'm very cautious here about entering a position. Yeah, 5-minute chart's showing a little bit of expansion on the volume, but not enough to get me excited about anything. It's the 15-minute is the one that intraday I'm inclined to give the strength to, this 15-minute chart. And even more so to the hourly, but it takes too long to get a candle out of the hourly. You know, market's moving too quick for the hourly, and there's too much noise on the 5-minute. 5-minute's a good reference, you know, but 15-minute is the chart of choice here. And positive ticks now. Yeah, this morning star, and I'm seeing higher lows, higher lows, higher lows. What do they want? 90 cents? Six handles. You know. Yeah, I think the market wants to push out a range here soon. It's going to test supply and demand at either of these levels. I'm thinking it's going to test the higher one first here, because it wants to put in higher lows. Of course, the other side of that is lower highs here, you know, except for here, after that morning star, doji. 91 cents. And this is the only 5-minute convincing candle here, is the expansion of volume to the upside and expansion of volume to the downside here. And it sure has kept within that range on the 5-minute. And it's the same, pretty much the same on the 15-minute. It's keeping within these ranges, and now it's wanting to test that upper range now. So that's 7 handles. So anything above 7 handles, and it's testing the upper boundaries. Just keep watching for a while here. So let's see, I'm 1 hour and 1 minute into this streaming video. And started late. I thought I would start streaming at 7 a.m. Pacific Standard. Pardon me. But I started around 8. You know, I do want to look at, see what my current trading status on brokerage is. Oh, okay. Just looking at my pattern day trading. You know, for those of you that trade know what I'm talking about. Otherwise, don't worry about it. It's you know, SEC regulatory BS that nobody should have to worry about, really. 92 cents. $0.92. Do I want to bite? Should I bite? 5 minute. Here's the expansion of volume with an up thrust. That's not a good sign. And here's declining volume on the 15 minute. Ticks are continually putting in higher lows here, which is matching on the 15-minute chart these higher lows. And $0.94, 93 cents. Yeah, here it goes. It's going to push now. So I think it's going to push above this range, and it's going to hold as support. So the way the saying goes is tops become bottoms, bottoms become tops, and that just means that previous lines of support and resistance change into their opposites. So what was a previous resistance here, if it closes above and holds above, then that previous resistance becomes support. And I'm, now my 214s are in the money and they want 99 cents. So I snoozed, I loosed. Let's see, it's trying to poke above that range, but it's just not. We'll see. I don't know. There's no way for anyone on this earth to know for certain, except for maybe select few, I think. Yeah, the market operators have control is the theory. Yeah, 400 ticks. Yeah, boom. Broke that support, or I broke that resistance. Now we'll see if it holds as a support. But that's That's kind of what I thought it would do. I just didn't get my order. I didn't have the extreme amount of confidence to, ooh, I gotta get in, you know. Just playing it cautious. And now those, now those 214s are a dollar now. 88 cents would have been okay. I'll take a 15-cent, 20-cent move, no problem. You know, it doesn't take much for me to get in and out. All right, I'm gonna need to make some more coffee here pretty soon. Alright. So the first attempt to get out of that range, and now that support has turned into resistance again. So it poked its little head above that resistance, and I'm talking about this right here. I'm calling this a resistance area. See, it poked above here. Now it's trying to poke above again. And it might hold. It might hold. Oh yeah. That's exactly what I thought was going to happen. And it'll probably push up to another 8, you know. Maybe go back up to 10 handles before exhausting itself. But I'm not going to chase that move. I'm not going to chase it. Yeah, okay, put in a little bit of a higher high. I mean, there's nothing wrong with, you don't have to call it chasing it, but there's something to be said for buying overbought and selling oversold. The trend is your friend. That's another, and that goes right along with the trend is your friend means you're going to buy when it's overbought and you're going to sell when it's oversold. That's going along with the trend is your friend. So with that kind of thinking, I would buy these calls regardless. But the problem is it's not going to make that much of a move that I want to pay the commission. And you got to look for a slightly you need at least a nickel to 10 cents to cover commission costs for a round trip. So you buy to open, you sell to close. That's 2 trades round trip, right? And I think my commission is going to be, it's between 15 and 20 bucks. $21.34. And the full range, let's see, here's SPX, 21.25 to 21.41. That's from the low of the day to the high of the day. That's typically 10 handles is the rule of thumb for the low and the high on the S&P 500. I'm seeing almost 1,700 stocks with 7 handles to the good. It is 9 a.m. Pacific Standard. And So this is kind of what I was anticipating here. This first poke above, this volume expansion on the 5 minute with this upthrusting marked a reversal, and it got down here, and I was looking at this morning star on the 15 minute as and saying, okay, that's the range, and my thought is that now it would put in a lower high. So I think this is as far as it's going to go, and it's going to do what would call a secondary test of supply down at this lower areas. That would be my guess, that it would, and then depending if the market wanted to push higher, we would definitely, I would anticipate seeing an expansion of volume back down at these, somewhere down where this morning star, see how it expanded on volume. So it gets back down to 113, 59.60, 213.60. If the market did want to move higher, it's like jumping off a diving board. You know, it's gonna push down to gain the upward momentum. And this is all just guesswork based upon my years of experience watching this stuff, you know. So I could be wrong. And I do think we're going to see some lower tick action. You know, if it holds above this low, I would say it's bullish. But if it stays within below the 900 range, I do think we see some lower ticks back down around this 900 range. But if it holds above that, would be another good sign for any bullish moves. Yeah, it's definitely pushing back against this area. Market wants to stay within, it's trying to expand the range. But so far I don't see it doing a very good job of that. So let's see, it went up and back and it's trying to push up again. Could kind of call that a bull flagging. Boom. Boom. Now my 214s are 85 cents. Okay. $9.07. What do you want to do, Mr. Stock Market? What do you want to do? Well, I know what I want to do. I'm gonna have to start making another cup of coffee here. I got a single serve coffee maker, you know, so I won't drink a full pot, and I don't like to make a half a pot. I like my little single serve coffee maker. Works out good for me. So this range, you know, exceeded the range of this previous tick candle. There's not a lot of meaning behind that, so Um, I'm just talking. Okay. Definitely looks like the market wants to maintain these higher lows. So, I think I'm going to set the coffee mug back down. Let's see. They're asking 92 cents again, 91, 92 for my 214. So that's the strike price of choice. And I'm over here just drumming my fingers going, what do I want to do here? I don't see any expansion of volume, so yeah, I'm not going to get excited. That's the item that usually convinces me one way or another is I want to see that volume. I want to see, because this is nothing. These little tiny little, and we're continually declining. This upward move is declining on volume, so that's nothing I want to get excited about. Then what happens is, after you have a decline of volume, that's when you least expect it. Boom! All of a sudden, there's an expansion of volume, and that's when I start getting ready to do something. It'd be similar to like this morning star looking doji. That if it was a real morning star, it would be down. It would be down here further. But it's very similar psychology, market psychology behind that. So, ticks still seem to be distributing higher. Two 14s, now they're back in the money. Alright, I'm gonna go start some coffee. Get some more coffee going. Okay, started the coffee maker. Oh, there's expansion of volume on this candle. And we're above the midpoint. Well, now we're not. Now we're, I can't tell, a little bit below the midpoint. Now that I see expansion of volume, what's behind it? Was that volume behind the move up is what it kind of looks like on the 5 minute. Basically, market saying, no, I want to push back against these highs. Yeah, almost 2 million. That is a spike in volume. And it looks like it was negative volume, sell ticks. A little bit of a pushback, I guess. Oh. 95 cents. I'm gonna call that. See, it did get down. Like I said before, it was. You can almost expect some negative ticks between the 6 and 900. So it did that. Now I'm getting a volume spike, and the market's pushing up above the 214, SPY 214. Oh. And it's 9:15 Pacific Standard. $214.50. So if I got these contracts, that would be the next higher high. Yeah, I don't know if the market really wants to do that though. It's pushing back yesterday's move, but it's not a real sizable pushback. I think the market is in the coming days. My guess is it's going to try testing some lower prices. Hmm. And away she goes. So that's enough to where I think now it's going to hold above this resistance. This resistance is now going to become support. Watch, I'm pretty sure that's what we're going to be looking for. It might poke a little bit down below it now. The opposite of what it was doing previously. Yeah, we got a nice 7. Okay, so we're putting in a higher high than the previous tick candle. Yeah. Well, those 214s are now a buck. So, had I got them in the 90 cents, they'd be a dime to the good right now. And I think that should have been my strategy. Just being a little cautious. But this game, you snooze, you lose. let's see. So market's back up to the 910 handles to the good where it was when I initially started watching it. 1700 stocks advancing on the New York Stock Exchange. S&P is catching up a little bit with NASDAQ. NASDAQ is still the market leader in terms of indices. Now I doubt we spend too much time below the 214 mark. It'll probably look below that briefly, but I think we can rely on this this support for today anyway. And away she goes. So it doesn't look like I'm going to be taking a trade today. I was thinking about it back when the 214s were 88 to 90 cents, but now, I mean, we'll see, but you know, if there's anyone out there, they have any questions, now would be a good time, because I don't think there's much I'm going to do. But you never know. I think my coffee's ready. I'll be back. Just let this develop for a while. I'm not sure there's going to be any opportunity to do anything else. Let me go refresh my coffee. Stay tuned. I'll be back. Anything exciting happen while I was gone? It's pushing higher, trying to. Now we're getting lower ticks. Still, 35 is a positive number. Yeah, volume expansion on this little dude right here. And that sent it higher, and that's what it looks like on the 5-minute. Current candle's showing a little bit of an up thrust, but no volume so far behind it to make it noteworthy. We're getting below zero negative ticks, 161. My 214s are now 98 cents. Yeah, it's still young, 9:30. I shouldn't give up hope yet. There might be an opportunity to jump into something here. I know, when I first started doing this, the technology, the charts have just come a long way, and we've got market profile and volume spread analysis and all kinds of new stuff, from my days of reading the quotes out of the newspaper financial section. Wow, have we come a long way. I don't know if there's any old timers out there that remember not having all these beautiful charts to look at. But I'm sure many of you, and I can't tell whoever watches this video, this just could look like a lot of noise. I'm sure to many it's very esoteric, and then there are those of you that are in the same kind of thing that I am, that all this is very basic. So if there's anyone currently watching, if you have any questions about this, I'll try to give you, answer any questions best I can while I'm waiting for something to develop here. Feel free. Otherwise, I'm just gonna drink my coffee, have myself a smoke, and these 214s are still in the money. I don't think they're gonna. Market might drop below and poke below the 214, but that previous resistance, I believe, is going to hold as support. A little bit of an upthrust on the 15-minute, but no volume behind it to warrant poking below the 214. The expansion on the hourly is kind of throwing me off, but the market's trying to creep back up that upthrust candle. I'd almost, on the hourly 60-minute chart, you see volume expansion with this upthrust, and one would expect to see, some lower prices out of that, but there really wasn't. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, even with volume spread analysis and all these fancy tools, there's really nothing written into stone. You throw your hat in the ring, and if the market doesn't move the direction you want it to, you just get out and limit your losses. If the market is moving the direction that you want, you try to capture as much profit, at least to make up for the days that you had to get out at a loss, like the other day. I took a small loss, just because I didn't like the way the market was. It wasn't moving my direction, and I think I may be held for less than an hour, and decided, nah, no confidence, don't like it, getting out. And regardless whether you're right or wrong, that's always the best move to make. Is if you don't like the trade, get out. And I've said about that. Yeah, market's moving higher. It's gonna move higher without me too. I don't, I'm guessing I'm not gonna take a trade today. 1720, advancing on the New York Stock Exchange with almost a 9-handle move to the good. Probably not gonna take a trade today. I missed my opportunity after this morning star doji. That was where I started filling out my order form, and I'm not sure I remember exactly what stopped me. Maybe it was this candle. I don't know. But I didn't take the trade, and those contracts aren't really doing. It was 90 cents, so that's a nickel. It's proving out to be a nickel, which ain't a whole lot. Nickel will just cover commission, which sometimes you're glad just to get that. Sometimes just making money for E-Trade is happy to get that. Sometimes the game isn't to make money, it's you make money regardless, if so long as you keep if your ability to not lose money. See, that's the more better way of stating it. Let's see. I switch back between the tape. I like to see the fluttering of the tape. And you're seeing these are tick is basically, I think of it as just bulk trades, and so you're kind of just seeing it roll in. And sometimes I'll watch the L2 on individual names or the SPY, and it makes my head hurt. I'd rather just this is easy enough on my eyes. Some SPY's at 214. Getting some negative ticks in here. And I think it got to like 300 was the highest, or the lowest. Yeah, just 300. Where did the bears go? They're hiding behind the tree, getting ready to leap out. Well, nobody's in the chat room. No questions. in this little, this sent it upward and it declined, it petered out right here. Kind of a little bit higher than I was expecting, a lower high on the 5 minute. But this action is a fairly bullish kind of feel to it to me. And we got to about 10 handles to the good, so we might get, in today we might get even better than that. Just guessing as I go along. It's got a bullish feel to it. Of course, lower or higher lows, a little bit of a higher high in here. So I think, what was it, 30 handles drop yesterday, and it's trying to retrace 10 handles. And then let's see, if I look at the time on this was 10:45, so that is going to coincide with what? Is that going to coincide with this? 10, yeah, pretty much. That is, that was the market putting its foot down right there, saying nope, we're not going lower than 213. Whatever, 60. 213 half. 213.50. That was the line drawn in the sand there. And here come the bulls. It's like water in a bathtub. That's what Mr. Step says. That's one of his sayings. Water in the bathtub. So an hour and 45-minute long video, that's quite a, I don't know, YouTube streaming should have some sort of pause button. Like I think I want to step away from the market for a few minutes, but I don't want to, if I stop the stream, I have a feeling that YouTube would take that as I'm done, I'm done with the video. YouTube pause button. Pausing this on the control panel isn't gonna stop the stream. Yeah. I think the live stream is still pretty young. They'll probably get the idea that 2-hour, 4-hour long videos, That's really tough for people to get through. Wow, we're getting some negative ticks in. Oh, the market is poking below the 214, and it's got volume behind it. Okay. On the 5 minute. Now, 1,000. We're getting some 1,000 ticks, negative ticks in. But is it gonna equal? I don't know what this. This was a E-Trade. I don't know. Not quite matching up here yet. Give it some time. So something just happened, and we're back, what, 5 handles. We got as low as 3 handles. 1,600 advancing. Let's see what we got here. I say there was no on the 15 minute. There was no volume indication of this reversal, really. A little bit of an upthrust, but not a convincing, oh, I should buy puts kind of convincing. Just out of the blue, boom, got some bearish activity. Yeah, 1126. I think that is a new number there on the day's low. No, it can't be. It can't be, because that's not the day's low. This is the day's low. I don't know. It's hard to tell. I don't think that. Can I see the low here? Open, close, high, low. Yeah, 1,049. That's what it's telling me. Was the low 1,049 as opposed to 1126. 1126, 1,049. Okay. Yeah. And expansion of volume. Volume expansion without a direction. A little bit of a down thrust, lower wick there. Not much. And this could be the beginning of a whole bearish leg here too. You know, I thought the 214 was going to hold, but this is no. I was wrong. 214 is not holding. Where is 214 on the 15 minute? It's right there. Yeah, and then the 214s, oh, back to 80 cents. Yeah, let's see. Kind of glad I didn't buy those contracts. I doubt I would have sold them at 20-cent move. I doubt I would have sold them. Probably glad I didn't buy those contracts now. You know, that's something to be said for a quick in and out. You know, you get 10, 20 cents out of your contracts, just be happy, get out. You know, especially unless there's really something convincing you otherwise. I think there was somebody wise told me, if your contracts are green, you know, options, sell them. Showing volume on the 5 minute, but not the 15 minute. 15 minutes, there'll be 3 hours left in the session. 9:44, you know, around 10 a.m. you know, Pacific. That's about when when the tree gets shaken. You know, the tree is getting shook. Alright, now we're going to see, we're going to get some pushback the other way. Let's see what that's all about. See, I was just going to step away for a few minutes too, but now it's starting to get interesting again. Yeah, I think the market's going to move even lower. Maybe. Oh, there it goes. Big 773. Big negative ticks coming in. That's driving volume up on the 5-minute. In this case, I'm looking at volume as the gas pedal. You know, 650. That's relatively tame. It gets up to the 900. That's 900. That's emphasis. 600. That's tame. Between the 3 and the 600 mark. So now we're pushing against session lows. September 14th, that is 11:10. Yeah, that was this morning star. Will we get lower than this candle? That's kind of what I'm looking at right now. That could be a good line in the sand when we 4 handles, 4, almost 5, 4.8. Better than 1500 advancing. Now we've got 5-minute volume expansion on a spinning top. That's indecision. That means the market does not even know itself where it wants to go between buyers and sellers. Near as I can tell, I don't see that this is a strong area at all. Not with on the 15-minute with this kind of volume just looking fairly weak. I think open this up here. Oh, OnDad just sent me an email. I've sort of written Forex off, man. Okay. Yeah, I still need to step away for a few minutes. Well, every time I say that, we're getting some bullish ticks. How much of this candle? Let's see, it's 9:53. Another 7-8 minutes here for that to close. But there's just nothing, no volume in here. If I'm going to do something, I want, like, I was just about to do something here. And if I want to speak in terms of hindsight, once those contracts went in the money, 214, had I disciplined myself to get out right then, that would have been a 20 cent, 15 to 20 cent profit. Had I not get out, see, I'd be lower than, than what I got in. And now, if I want to try for these 214 calls on a push higher, I want to see something down here on this volume. Alright, just not. I refuse to bite without the proper bait on the hook, So let's see. I'm afraid I'm going to need to step away from the market for a few minutes. So if y'all will pardon me, feel free to talk amongst yourselves. There's a chat thing in here. Y'all can throw some questions at me if you like. Otherwise, yeah, pushing lower. Yeah, I think I can. I think I can get away from this just for a few minutes. I'll be back. I'm back. What did I miss? Volume expansion. On the 5 minute. Another little morning star here action. Are we convinced? Okay, I would say let's look at this again here. Of course, you know, I got to step away from the market, and that's when the expansion of volume comes in. Just a little bit on the 15 minute. I don't know if it's enough to convince me, but we gotta, you know, this low tick is higher than this one, and you know, what's our, 6 handles? Is the market going to push up? I think it is. Our 214s are 83 cents. Should I buy it on that? Let's see. Hmm. 81 cents. So back to the 5 minute. Huge expansion here, low volume there. So the successful test of supply, it looks like, and the market's going to move higher. Nothing on the hourly, just a little bit on the 15 minute. I'd like to see that. Would have liked to see more of an expansion of volume on this candle. And then what is it? It's 10:05 Pacific Standard. Well, if we can get above the 214, it's only a 10-cent move. I'm not sure that's enough to justify a trade. I'm fairly confident it'll move above the 214. Well, and then again, it might not. 214 is here. And I want to take a trade that is ultimately just going to cover commissions. You want to see some kind of a move to justify a trade. And this little expansion isn't, it's expansion, but it's not that convincing to me yet. Yeah, it's pushing lower. The 214 strike is now 78 cents, or they're asking. Yeah. I think the market wants to try to push a little lower. I'm not too sure this is a convincing, candle formation. It is putting in higher lows. The ticks are putting in higher lows. There's something in the back of my head's telling me to just chill, be cautious here. Oh, there it goes. Alright. So maybe I shouldn't. It's gonna go now, watch. Oh. I think it'll poke above the 214 and stall out now. That only would have been a 10-cent move. Yeah. I think I'm doing the right thing by just watching. Me thinks I'm doing the right thing. This is 3 million in volume. Is that enough to push it above the 214, get a higher high? I don't know. I don't think that's enough volume to, like I was saying, the diving board, the springboarding event, See this huge volume, and then you springboard, right? Volume expansion here. There's not high enough jump off the diving board to springboard. And the positive ticks are fairly tame. Barely wanting to get up to the 600. Just watch the tape for a while. Here's our ticks right here. Yeah, I did start the order form. And I just I said, hang on a second, wait, hold on, hold the phones. Back down to negative. I haven't looked at crude in a while. Let's see, is that still falling out? Maybe this is where we got some positive action. Maybe the market is kind of looking at crude a little bit. AD line is increasing above zero. That's a positive sign. Okay, 5-minute expansion on this bullish candle. See, I'm looking at that as pushback. Hourly, we're just the 60-minute chart. We're still decreasing as we slowly move into the close. Less than 3 hours to close. And moving lower. See if we get any traction out of this move lower. I wouldn't know anything really from volume. It's pretty tame. Just kind of spinning around this entire area here is a balance area. The market is filling filling out upper and lower areas. Briefly moved it out of this range to increase the size of the range to the upward. And it's holding, so far it's holding these, but the more time it spends down here, increases the chances that it's going to poke below this. And then this was the line in the sand here and here. And I think the market possibly wants to do what is known as a secondary test of supply. Okay. Checking for demand at that price. Whether supply enters the market or not dictates direction. Supply and demand. Now at 10:15 Pacific Standard, the market is trying for some rather tame negative ticks. It's lurking around the 213.5 area, just above it, seeing if it wants to poke beneath that level or not. The 214s that were 80 cents are now 77, asking 77 cents. Of course, I'm not going to bite on that until I see some more convincing expansion of volume. And I think in order for that expansion of volume, price is going to need to poke down here closer to where this expansion of volume entered, and then the springboard effect, get a little bounce out of that. Unless that happens, I'm just going to sit here and watch. Exciting, isn't it? Pardon me. Kick my feet up here. Sort of a symmetrical triangle building on the ticks. And a symmetrical triangle is like a compressed spring. So price keeps getting into it tighter and tighter, shallower, and then it makes its move, And here it goes, making a move, bust a move. No expansion on volume. I don't know. Not getting excited. No. Bullish ticks are gonna threaten a new higher high here or not? I don't know. pretty shallow range. You got like a little tiny little bear flag. No volume supporting these, in this. I mean, a little bit of expansion here. When the market poked down here, it really started. Oh wait, no, you can't go below that. And it's poking above. Just speaking to a pretty shallow channel here around between 5 and 6 handle to the good here. The 2132, 2132 half and above seems to be a line there with 1600 some change. Stocks advancing on the New York Stock Exchange. This number is in line with that number, I do believe. That's sort of what I would expect in terms of advancing when I see a 5 handles, which is 2 to 0.3%. Not much. Not a mucho. Come on, market. If you're going to do something, do something. And it looks like it's trying to break out of this symmetrical triangle range. But you don't want to... the initial move out of symmetrical triangle can often be a false move. Whether it breaks upward or out or lower, a lot of times it's just a springboard move to the opposite direction. Really serves to fake out the market. Considering the daily chart, it looks like the market wants to try lower levels. I don't really put too much faith in this support level here. Towards the end of the session, could just see a good move lower. Not enough that I would buy puts overnight, I don't have that good a read on it to go that far. And the chain I'm looking at actually only has a couple of days. Is it the 16th? Is the chain I'm looking at. And here comes positive ticks. Looks like the positive ticks are going to break out of the symmetrical triangle, so again, you never know. That initial move out of the triangle Could be a false break, you know. I'll have another smoke. This little doji expanding volume is still sitting there. Wasn't in enough volume to convince me take action. And those 214s are still in the 80 cent, you know. Now it's breaking out of range. There it goes. Now we want to see if it gets higher than either of these ticks. See where that pushed it already almost to 7 handles. Yeah. And then this candle, no volume. So, not convincing. Not very convincing anyway. You can almost put a trend line right here, and it's been kind of following that. I'm not sure I even know how to draw a trend line on E-Trade. Haven't really played around with trend lines. I usually draw those on the Thinkorswim. Same thing on the hourly, you can just kind of put a trend line right down that. I don't know, trend line. Let's give it a shot here. Oh, you gotta hold it down. Yeah, it's a trend line. I have no idea what I'm doing here. I guess supposed to, right click? No. All in. So much for drawing a trend line. I'm giving up already. No, I'm not. Pivot tool, trend line. Boy, E-Trade. Can't even draw a trend line on this thing. This is the only noteworthy volume expansion, and it's just not doing anything for me. Try oh, look there. I don't want that one. So now how come it's working now? I want to get it right about there. No, it's not working. I don't get this E-Trade trend line. Oh, here we go. Okay. Let's put it right about there. Could be lower. Let's see, can I? Oh, yeah. Okay. And then, so you have to tag the wick. Okay. So if you double click, it opens up the order form. Alright, trend lines. Woohoo! So this is a symmetrical triangle. And that will coil up like a spring, compress it. Larger version, of course, on the 5 minute. Now, one day, if I make this today, I lose my trend lines. Okay. 'em. Trend lines are a useful tool. You basically want to just observe how many touches either to the lower or the upper trend line, and I think the dominant school of thought is that the more touches to any particular trend line, the increases the chances that it will break that. I mean, I'm not sure I can even count. Consider this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's hard to tell when it gets tight in here, as opposed to 1, 2, maybe 3. I would say it's putting more on the lower trend line than the upper one, but it's very subjective. It's hard to say. The 5 minute market is moving higher on lower volume, and now it's poking above my upper trend line here on the 15 minute, again with no volume to speak of. Is that a higher tick? Not really. Let's see. $801. Yeah, it is a higher tick. And our compressed spring is springing. Put in a higher little bit, and then it's just the whole feel in the market just seems to be kind of an indecision, balancing out. Doesn't particularly know what it wants to do. Still around that 2132, holding 2132 as a fairly decent support, which translates to 213 half, or 213.65-ish. Spinning tops, yeah, just doesn't, market doesn't have a direction in mind right now. Here's a expansion with down thrusting, and that candle will close in a minute. Not seeing it, the market's not, can speak in the market in terms of speed, and it's not doing anything really fast. It's kind of a slow market, which is pretty decent, to make money in. You make money in any, whatever. There's 1040 Pacific Standard, and that marks a little bit of action here, trying to poke down below the symmetrical triangle, and we're seeing an expansion of volume finally. That puts the 214s down at 70 cents. 73, asking 73 cents. Something looks different with my volume on this 15-minute chart now. I thought there was expansion. I think something changed on me here. Can't quite put my finger on it. Something looks different down here in the volume. You know, I thought there with this morning star I was looking at had expansion, and now it's, I'm a little scratching my head on that. Okay, the market really poked lower and was brought back up, but again, sound like a broken record without expansion of volume. It's not a convincing move. This is expanding, and the candle is still a spinning top, and we got another 10:42, 3 minutes to see what that candle looks like when it closes. It's getting a little more interesting now with the expansion. Tad bit. Take this just down a little bit. Okay. Market's breaking down. $21.31. Definitely looks like it's fallen out of the range now. Yeah, well, kind of. Over here, yes. See what reaction we get down at 213.5. 6 more ticks, 5 more ticks. So I would say this would be the resistance now that it's broken out of the triangle. So the question has been answered. Market wants to look lower. And it's got a ways to go before any kind of volume reaction too. You know, nice even number 213. Might get some reaction there. Little bounce, but there's you know, I mean, now in terms of buying puts, I could justify these are, you know, slightly lower highs, but can't really say we're getting lower lows. I don't think there's anything in my mind justifying puts. That's right back to that's funny. 213.50s the other day that I bought it right at that same price. No, not this time. Not this time. Decent move lower. Something looks red here. Oh, the Dow is in the red. S&P likely to follow. Why am I glad I didn't buy calls? Because, yeah, it's closing. We're going to, yeah, just like I was just saying, it's going to look to these previous, where it looked at this price and saw expansion of volume. And it really went nuts here on volume. That's a confusing candle to close and look at with that much volume. One would almost expect a lower price, you know, but it continued up above 214.5 before reversing course, and now we got 1,042. Which is a higher low than this 1,049. And now here, trying to backfill that candle. This is the more important chart to be paying attention to here. I could probably just get rid of this line now. We see it broke from the symmetrical triangle. I'll leave it. It's not a big deal. Not an issue. Bulls are gonna make another play here soon. I think they're gonna make another play here, or this is just a flag down. Yeah, see, I have no idea. Five-minute candles got a feel for lower prices. You know, it's at the lower end of the stick here. You know, a sizable volume. There was expansion of volume on this move lower. So the gas pedal is trying to backfill. I'm guessing it goes lower. Definitely looks to me like it wants to retest the 213 even levels down here from this early on in the market. And when it tested those levels, it was a springboard event off of that level. So that's kind of might be an opportunity. We'll see. Otherwise, the move, any move lower here would just be a terrible trade location trying to capture any move lower. The 5 minute sure looks like a bear flag to me. And it's almost coming up in 11. More than 2 hours left in the session. 3 minutes left in this 15-minute candle, and it almost wants to be a volume expansion down thrusting candle, but still the stars are not quite in perfect alignment in my view for a trade. I'd want to see this real estate here bought up, and I'd want to see this candle close a little higher with a lot more volume behind it. Call that a reversal. And with 2 minutes to go, I don't think it's going to do it. So yeah, I don't see the bulls getting overly excited about this level. So, you know, no one's getting overly excited. Got fairly tame 500 ticks. Bears are just barely pushing back and getting their way, and that's kind of what the feel I'm getting. No excitement for pushing to new highs here. More excitement looks like, I think, you know, bear flag in here, bear pennant. Like I said, it looks like I think we're gonna want to test these 213 even levels. Kind of what it looks like to me. Okay, let's hide my camera. I gotta step away for a few minutes. Stay tuned. I'll be right back. Okay. What'd I miss? No, that's kind of what I anticipated. Trying to move lower. It's 11:05 Pacific Standard, and the market is 21.27. It broke through the 21.30 even psychological barrier. Translates to SPY 213 half. Now we're 213 3/10. Our advancing and declining stocks are evenly matched. Look out below. I think we want to get down to 213 even before we see any kind of reaction. And I can just get rid of this. No reason to have that. Leave this. You know, to try to go for puts is just a bad trade location because I don't see that I could even cover commission costs getting to the 213 even. I think my better bet is to see if we got a convincing reaction down at these levels down here, and that might be a good move, but it's 2 hours left in the session. I would end this video here, except there is a possibility, and if there is a possibility of a trade, just that's good. Let's see what we got here. Leave that. I might need that. Look out below. Just looking at the other end of this stick, could I have captured a move up here? You know, this expansion of volume up here, I do think I don't see why I should have balked at anything like that. You know, let's see, by the time I saw this expansion, yeah, I don't know. Wasn't really thinking of puts because I'm not sure how much lower price is going to go, and to capture that move to cover commission costs, you know, I'd have to be a lot more convinced up here than I'm going to see down here, and I'm still not too sure. I mean, we could see a reaction in volume at the 213 even, and yeah, it's a move. I'll say that. I just don't know how much of a move, you know. Hey, here we are. Boom. So this is 213 even was the low. And this is 213.30, 212.98. So this is getting below the psychological 213 even. Even numbers are a psychological barrier. Our tick is 9, 10. Big ticks. These are big ticks. So now on the 15 minute, this would be our next train stop. Didn't even. Yeah, it's not even looking back. It's pushing through. Good deal. At least it's doing something. At least it's doing something. Alright, let's go back to this. Oh yeah. Look out below. What do we got here on the tape? Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of what the daily chart was showing. You know, we're going to move lower. And, you know, I was calling this a bear flag, and this is the distance between here and here, you know, should equal this distance, so that's a completed flag. You know, how much more traction, you know, I don't know. Or mileage, don't know how much more mileage you'll get out of that, other than to say that this is a completed move. Equal to this leg should be equal to this leg, or you know, whatever. Yeah, I don't see any trades today. No, that kind of move. Not judging from the daily chart. Bad trade location for puts. Just not a trade I want to put on anyway. Alright, so that's something I need to do here. Let's see. Hmm. Get a. Hmm. All right. So little pushback from the bulls. I doubt it will be anything to speak of. In fact, it's on the 5 minute. This bear flag could be another bear flag. We'll have to wait a few candles to see that, but we could see uh, maybe a 15-minute bear flag too. That's another, you know, if that's the case, that might be a good spot for puts, but not. I don't know. I just don't think there's good enough trade location in there. I'd have to see a really nice, pretty, sexy candle with huge volume rejecting this level before I wanted to jump into that action. And I don't know. I'm not seeing that. What the hell? Hmm. So this level here on the 5 minute would be, first resistance. Um, and there's no volume behind this move on the 15 minute. We were increasing volume on this move lower, and this is not convincing at all for a reversal. Not in line with the ticks for a reversal. Not really. Not unless we got up and did some 900 ticks up here. Forget about it. I don't think, it's like the market saying, "Here, kitty, 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 come on, buy some calls." No. No. If anything, you'd want to hold some puts overnight, but I'm not that confident. That would be a little bit of risk, for my blood. Oh, seventh inning stretch. Okay. Everybody stand up and shake it off. So now there's those two 1350s back up at $2. I don't really want to look at that. I mean, the story behind that was 2 days ago I did a video. I bought the two 1350 puts at $1.70, and within a half an hour, 45 minutes, I thought, no, I don't want this trade, and I got out. 20-cent loss. Sold at $1.50 something. And then the next day the market powered up, and wow, I'm glad I got out. You know, actually the same day it powered up. And then the next day the market dropped again, and the same puts were, and this happens all the time. You know, this is typical. You know, those 213 half puts were, you know, $2 and something. I don't know, but you just gotta laugh. A crazy market, back and forth, back and forth. Danny Boy, Miss Top says water in the bathtub, swishing back and forth. You know. So on the 5 minute, really expanding on the move down in this declining volume. Looks bearish to me. And you know, the market's probably going to fight out and probably make a range somewhere in this area for a while. It likes to do that. It'll make a move, and then it'll fight over a range, and then it'll break out of that range. And that's sort of the game, is to see what's the next range going to be. See, so the initial move Friday is here. We got to you know, drop back down and held a little higher ground here. So that will be the interesting thing on this hourly chart, 60-minute chart, whatever. Is see if it holds this level and tries to keep making some higher lows here. Oh, there's some bullish ticks coming in. Any volume behind that? A little bit, not much. So it stays above the midpoint of the previous candle. I'll call that slightly bullish, but the really question is to see, will there be volume behind that move? And that would be a 2 candle piercing pattern, scissor, tweezers, you know, call them different, same pattern. That is the market putting in a temporary bottom. That 2 candle formation. Well, maybe that was the line in the sand right there. You know, nice. You know, draw a nice trend line off of that. You know, kind of. Market's trying to close positive. We'll see. see, as I previously stated here, this is your resistance. This little bit of support, and it's going to be a little bit of resistance. This was a bear flag for sure, but can't call this a flag. It could be the beginnings of a head and shoulder bottom formation. See just how much the market likes this as a temporary floor. I don't see any convincing volume behind that, so. And it's still not putting in any higher. Didn't get up to the 900. It was an impressive maneuver, but just not that impressive. Not that good of a move. Those 214 calls would have been a losing game there. Now it's 213.50 that are slightly out of the money, and I don't think it's going to do it. Got an up thrust candle. There's some sizable volume behind that up thrust candle, and that's got 2 minutes to go to close. Unless the bulls change, this is going to be a bearish looking. It's not going to be a tweezer, that's for sure. And so far, just like I thought, there just wasn't enough real estate to capture for puts here to justify, wouldn't even clear commission costs, I don't think. Not in my case. So there's really no good trade location to speak of that I can see. I think calls would be a losing proposition. And unless you're daring enough to hold puts overnight, not me. What do we got here? This is now a 3 hour and 37-minute video. Yikes. I don't think anybody's going to want to sit through this. This isn't all that much exciting here. I'm not willing going to take on any trade right now. This is bad trade location. I think the downside's limited, but I think the market is going to want to try to find a balance area somewhere around here. So far we're showing slightly higher lows, but at some point I think the market is going to want to do a test of supply, and that could, you know, wipe out any chances of anybody wanting to play calls, unless you're looking for a longer term expiration. Even then, I think it's just too risky. Well, this candle didn't close out as bearish as I thought it was going to. And on the 60-minute time frame, we're seeing a little bit of a down thrust here with expansion of volume. I'd call that a little bit bullish. Wouldn't quite call this a tweezer though. It just a little more real estate up here. Could be the beginnings of a head and shoulder bottom. Now in terms of tick, there's no higher high, but it did put in it's put in lower lows. You know, an hour and a half left in the trading session. I'm not going to take a trade. Nope. And there it goes down. And 15 minutes sure looks like it's building a pennant. That's a bearish formation. We got decliners slightly outpacing advancers on the New York Stock Exchange at 11:35 Pacific Standard. I was just thinking how this is a nice triangle here. Like, is the 5 minute setting up a bullish pennant, while the 15 minute is setting up a bearish flag? I don't know. Don't put too much stock into chart formations. They're just something to think about. It's really mostly a matter of putting anything you're looking at, candlesticks, formations, whatever, in context with volume. Volume is probably the most important thing, besides the bulk trades that are coming in, reflection of the tick. Alright, so it's almost coming up on 3/4 of the hour. 15 minutes to 12, that makes it an hour and a quarter. Alright, sports fans, I think there's nothing for me to be had on this day. It's always good experience though, watching and seeing how price action works out. It's always a little different every day. So, this is your host, Mark Vieira, signing out. I think, thank you for watching. And I hope everyone has a nice week. But this is, I'm going to close this video out. I'm not going to take any trades. Let's call this a dry run. So if you find this helpful, I'm pleased. But in any case, until next time, this is Mark Vieira signing off. Have a nice day.